Battle Lab. So we'll start in Battle Labs, and then after that I'll switch to creative. And in creative, I'll talk a bit about awareness, positioning, about building and editing, and then at the end I'm going to provide a few examples of some good players and see what they do. It's kind of like a summary. The first thing we're going to talk about are hot drops and quiet places to land. So whenever you're playing Battle Royale, you want to open your map, and you always have like a line where the boss is going, right? It could be like horizontal, or it can be diagonal. So let's say the bus starts here above 30 docks. That means that 30 docks will be a hot drop. It's more likely that people are going to land there, and that's because people are kind of lazy. They don't like to be in the bus for too long, so they'll just get out there. But also, cities like Pleasant Park, Believer Beach, Lazy, and retail are always places that are busy. People love to land in cities because people like fighting. So if you're an aggressive player and you like to get kills, yeah, feel free to go to these places, do those hot drops, try to get fights, and see if you can improve. But if you're a passive player and then you don't want to fight, so you most likely go to and land at places where there are less people. Usually the edge of the map is always good. When I play competitive, for example, I always love to land yeah, around here where there's basically nothing. I'll pick up some chests or some houses over there. Let's see, where am I now? What is chicken doing? Hi chicken. Let's see, I'm going to kill myself first. I should respawn in the sky because I want to talk about gliding. In battle labs, it's a good way to learn how to land somewhere. So basically, let's focus on Craggy. I think I will. I'm spawning. I'm spawning at Dirty Docks. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll take it from here. We're going to land at Craggy. That's our objective. So when we're picking Craggy, you want to find a place that you're comfortable. You need to think of a spot where you want to land, where a location where that you actually know. So, for example, I always loved the restaurant. I always land. If you play with me, you see that I'm always landing at the restaurant. So what I'm doing is I'm actually going down all the way, and you kind of get a feeling of it, of when you need to use your parachute, and then you can just glide all the way to the roof of the building. So I don't have to move anymore. I know that I will land exactly where I want to land. Hopefully I don't get abducted by an aliens. That would be helpful. Now, as you can see, I'm a little bit too high. So what you can do is you can strafe, like going left and right. This will make you go lower. So that is it's a technique to drop in height, and that is something you need to practice. So I would advise going into Battle Lab. Just kill yourself a couple of times. Pick a house, pick any building that you like, and try to land on the roof of the building. And it's better to be a bit too high because you can strafe and go down, than to being too low down, and then you miss your drop spot and you're down on the street. You always want to land on the roof of a building. And the reason why you want to land on the roof of the building is because it's easier to work your way down instead of starting at the bottom and then working yourself up. It's going to make it a lot more difficult. And preferably you want to land on the roof of buildings, because you can be aware. Like I have a horse. While I'm landing here on the roof, I can actually I have a whole overview of the whole city. I can see where everybody's going to land. So if I know that an enemy is landing in this house, I can just remember that and know that the danger could be possibly there. So it's a good way to do that. Now, if you're landing here, you know what? Let me just respawn and just do it again while I talk. I should be spawning at Dirty Docks again. Maybe we'll pick a different house. Let's see. You know what? Let's go for this house. So I already look at my house a little bit, and now I'm just going straight forward to it. I might be a bit too low now. I don't know. Maybe I might be okay. But you want to focus on just practicing that in. You know, that you're always landing on the roof spot on. If you get that right, you already have an edge over your opponents. Especially if you land on the roof, you can see where people are, where your enemies are, where your teammates are, before you get into battle. Now, as you're approaching your house or your roof, you have to look around if you can, if you're not too low. Like now I'm a little bit too high, that's okay. I could still skydive a little bit and go lower, but I can always just strafe a little bit and then go lower. I'm not gonna strafe too much, and I'll land exactly on the building where I want. And then you have a nice overview of everything. But before you're landing, make sure there's no other enemies with you. You can still land there, but if it's too hot for you, just back away and have a backup plan. Always have that ready. And another important thing is you want to study your building, and this is also a great thing to do in Battle Lab, because you want to know everything about it. When you're going in the building, in Battle Labs, all the chests and ammo crates and floor loot will spawn. And in the normal game modes, there's a chance of it spawning. So when I open this roof, now I know that there's a chest here. I know there's an ammo crate behind me, so I can already grab some loot. I can have my ammo crate, and you can work your way down. And you can basically study where all your drops are. So now there's a chest here. You can see that there's a possible item spawning in this bedroom. A safe if you need it. Here's some materials. It can be anything that drops here, but you already know that there are. There's a chest upstairs. There's a ammo crate upstairs. There's a chest here. There's a possible drop floor loot here. Floor loot over there, and then we work it way down. Is there anything else here? No, it doesn't seem like it. Okay, then you know you can skip this part, and you can even go down. There's another floor loot, another ammo crate, and I believe there's a chest in the bathroom on that side. So it's good to know where all the loot is. Now another thing that a lot of people don't do is when they land in a building and you know there's enemies nearby, just pick up every weapon that you see. Don't just leave them on the ground, because an enemy might be able to pick that up and hit you. I've played with people before that just landed, didn't have any weapon, and they're like, ew, an AR, I'm just gonna go past it, I'm going to find a better weapon. Don't do that. Even if it's a pistol or, I don't know, a sniper rifle, just grab it so your enemies can't take it from you and use it against you. Now if you're landed and you open some chests, you got some weapons, let's say that your teammate is knocked, or maybe even finished off, and he's knocked over there on that side. Don't just go and straight run into the battle. You know, you have to think about your positioning. We're going into more into depth when it comes to positioning in a little bit. But what you want to do is go around the map. It's much more safe. But another thing is that when you're in a building, when you landed, before you go out to help your teammates, you can already see the countdown, right? You can see how long you have before you can pick up the cards. So use that time, because the enemies are probably still there. Use that time to farm up. Just smash all the couches, the lamps, anything that can get you materials, grab it. Take as much as you can. Now you have to note that I'm in Battle Lab now, so I'll get my materials up really quickly. But in the real game, it's not like that. But also furniture doesn't really give many materials. The best materials are always the rocks and the trees, for example, and cars. Those are the best ways to farm up. But because you're in a building, you don't have much, so just smash everything you can, so you at least can protect yourself when you're working your way up to your teammate to help them or get the card or whatever. So take your time, And then let's say we're on the offense. Let's say let's say the reboot card is over here, like inside this building. What you would like to do in a situation like this is you actually want to go for high ground. So don't just go straight towards your card and then work your way up again. No, what you want to do is, even on distance, build up to a roof if you can. And then you have a whole awareness of the situation. You can actually see everything. And then you can make a plan based on that. Maybe you can shoot the enemies, or maybe you can just flank, or whatever. So always build up a roof and keep that high ground. It's very important. This is also default, doesn't matter. People already know about the preferred item slots, which is nice. Auto pick up weapons, I don't do that. Auto sort consumables to the right, I prefer to have that on. So whenever you pick up a medkit or bandages or shields, it puts them to the right of your inventory. However, there are players that prefer to play with this off because they have. This is especially good for players that play on controller, because on controller you have to switch with your triggers. With I think on PlayStation it's L1 and R1 to switch between your weapons, and on Xbox it's RT and LT. So some people like to have the shotgun in their first slot and the sniper rifle in the last shot, so they can switch between shotgun and sniper real quickly. So that's also a way to do that, if you prefer that. For PC it doesn't matter because it's just a button press. Reset building choice. If you have that off, please please turn it on. Reset building choice is an option that remembers your last selected piece. So if you place a ramp and then you close your build menu, the next time you open your build menu, the ramp is going to be there again. So I prefer to turn this on so that you always start with a wall. Because if you get shot, it's easiest to just place a wall and then protect yourself. But the pre-edit option is where you, for example, you place a window in here by accident, and now every time you place a wall, there's going to be windows. So it's not ideal. And it can happen sometimes by accident. You don't want this. So make sure to go into settings and then search for, in the building category, disable pre-edit option, turn it on. Make sure turbo bonding is on. And I think the most important one is confirm edit on release. Confirm edit on release. It is personal preference. There are people that love to play it with off, and some people love to play it with on. Basically, what it does is that if you have it off, and you have a wall, you want to edit this wall, you have to walk towards it. So for me, it's the F button, as you can see here on the screen. You have to press your edit button, so you get the edit menu. Then you have to make the selection, or for example, if I want to make a window, I have to make the selection, and then I have to press F again to confirm it, and then I have my window set. But if you turn that setting off, it's with one less option, because you can walk up to your wall, you press the edit button, and then you can just select it, and then when you let go of the select button, it's gonna edit it. So you don't have to press another button, you can just let go of the key. So that's a very nice option. So you can find it over here in the building, in confirm edit on release. So put that to on. That's what I advise beginners and intermediate people. A lot of professional players also play with this on. Some of them like to play it with off, but that's, like I said, personal preference. Let's talk about awareness. So your first instinct when you're just walking about and you're getting shot, your first instinct should be build. Don't even ask questions, just build some walls around you, but just build. Especially in the direction that you're getting shot at or shot from, if you know. So if you get shot from that angle, you just place some walls to protect yourself. You don't want to take more damage. So your first instinct is, I need to protect myself. So you place some walls. And then you need to be aware of your surroundings. So what I like to do is place a wall, and then I go up, and I'm just going to abuse my camera angle here, and just see where the enemy is that shot towards me. I want to see where they are, how many there are, how far away they are. Um, I can basically just assess the whole situation. Was it a sniper? Where was it? Where was it sniped from? If you don't know, then you make a full box. You don't open your, you don't leave your back exposed like that, of course. Whenever you're getting shot, or for example, I'm getting shot from the right now. Boom, just protecting myself. Maybe place a ramp, and just look up. Maybe heal. Maybe shoot back. Whatever you need to do. But at least you need to be aware of where the enemies are, how many there are, and stuff like that. Like I said, if you knock somebody, like let's say that there's a person here, I knock him and he's crouching around. Don't just try and finish him off. Always build around him, and even hold your wall if you have to, or even box him up so he can't leave. But you want to do this because his teammates are likely shooting you, so you want to keep protecting that body, and then when it's safe, you can finish him. Then it's okay. But I see a lot of players that there's a player here, they shoot, they knock him, and just going to try and finish him off while they're getting shot as well. So it's not really that smart. Another thing is that a lot of people don't know is that if you knock somebody, so let's say there's an enemy here, I shoot him into the head, he gets knocked, you can see that he's actually glowing. His whole skin is glowing gold, I believe. It's like a gold glow. And you have to wait for that gold glow to pass. It takes a few seconds, but you cannot kill a player that is just knocked. That's why they're glowing. So you can shoot all you like, but it's just wasting your ammo. So you have to wait for that glow to be over, and then you can finish them off. Another thing about awareness is that no matter what the situation is you're in, let's say there are some enemies around me. Sometimes you just need to be quiet and just listen. Audio is so important. You need to listen. Where are your enemies? Are they below me? Are they above me? You can basically hear what enemies are doing. You can even hear if they're reloading. You can hear if they're switching weapons, and you can even hear which weapons they have. If you switch to the Scar, it makes a different sound than to a heavy shotgun. So those sounds you have to remember, because I can actually whenever I'm in a fight, I listen to what the enemy is using, which shotgun they're using with. If I have like a green pump and I hear somebody with this spaz taking this one, I know I need to be careful because he has a much more powerful shotgun than I do. So listen to sounds, listen to where enemies are, listen to footsteps, listen to what they're using. It's very, very important. So what is high ground? Well, basically, whenever you're up here and you have an overview of the situation, you have high ground. Whether it's a hill or if you're standing on the roof of a building, whenever you have the highest point of the fight, you have the high ground. And the reason why high ground is so important is because you have the overview, you have the edge. You can even use your camera angle. You know, your character can be shot from here, but you can still use the camera angle to work out where enemies are, and you have an overview of the battle. And another thing is if you don't have many materials, then why would you go for high ground? There's no point in taking high ground if you're low on materials or if you're really low on health. Unless you're a really good builder and you're comfortable that you can take the high ground of them, then just go for it. But other than that, I would just suggest not doing that and try and play the low ground. It's a bit more difficult, but it might be your better option. There's always a situation where you do not want to have the high ground. There are multiple actually. I'm just going a little bit higher. Sometimes on the map, when you're facing really good players, so let's say you open the map and you can see that there's a hill in the zone somewhere. A lot of people think, okay, I need to get the high ground because that will win me games, and that is technically true. However, the good players know this as well. So whenever you are going to that hill and try to take that position, it's very likely that a really good player that's in the lobby wants to get that high ground as well, and maybe even take it off you. So that is one way where you don't want the high ground. Now there's also something called second height, and this is mostly used for players that are really far in arena or are playing really competitively. And second height means that someone is above you and someone might be below you. So there might be a player up here who has the absolute high ground. People like to call it absolute high ground as well. And there's a player all the way down, so in that box, that's low ground. Now you could be on second height, so you are probably in the middle of it, so you could be here. This is the situation where you don't want to be in. You never want to be in a situation where someone is above you and someone is below you, because you can get jumped from every angle. So whenever you have second height, you need to make a decision. You need to assess the situation, or you're going up there and you're going to fight and take back the high ground. You're going to fight for it, or go down and stick to low ground. But you don't want to be in between. You don't want to get sandwiched between multiple teams. What is more important, shield or health? So would you take small shields and big shields over a medkit or bandages? Now, you might think, yeah, they're both equally important, but actually the most important thing is shield. Because if you break someone's shield, you can actually hear it, right? You can feedback, you can hear when their shield cracks, and then you know that they're weak. So shield is always important. You might have 30 health, for example, and let's say 25 shields, and one person shoots you, breaks your shield, and he knows you're weak. So that's why you always want to have shield up. So they never know what kind of white health you have, basically. Yeah, so I do take shields. I take mini shields and big shields over medkits and bandages all the time. I actually never carry medkits or bandages unless I have a spot free, like, or if I never found big shields or anything like that. However, if you're playing duos or trios or squads, it's always nice to have someone in the team that carries around some mats. But which items and weapons should I pick up? What should I take? Because there are so many weapons in the game. I don't know what to take. And that is just personal preference, because some people are really good with the sniper, some others are only good with the shotgun. Some people are insane with pistols. So just go with whatever you're comfortable with. But I would just advise always have an assault rifle with you. Always have your shotgun with you. And for your third slot, you can either go SMG or you can go sniper, or maybe some mobility. Maybe if shockwaves are in the game, you use shockwave grenades, or peppers. Anything that makes you mobile is useful. And then I prefer to take 2 slots with health. So you can either take some medkits or bandages, and then in your last slots you have some shields, or just go for double shields. Whatever you're comfortable with, really. There's not really a wrong answer. I mean, there is a wrong answer, and that is if you run around with 5 assault rifles or 5 sniper rifles, then I don't know what you're doing. I'm up here. I have the high ground. I'm the king of the field right now because I have the power, basically, right? I have the whole overview. Everybody below me are just my minions. That's the way how I like to see it. I have the high ground, and I dictate everything. If someone is building up, I'm just gonna shoot them down because I don't want them to go up. I want them to stay down and fight with them. Do not take 50-50s. So what are 50-50s? That means that you're going into a situation where it's going to be a 50-50 fight. So the fight can go either way. You never want to do that if you have the high ground. So at the moment I have high ground and I'm just going to expand. Right, I'm sticking to my high ground. Now let's say that someone is below me. Actually, did I not have a box? Okay, let's say that in this box there's an enemy right there, right? So I'm just going to build towards it. What a lot of people do is they have the high ground and they're going to drop down and then take the fight like that. Never do that. Why would you leave your precious high ground? That is the most important thing. Never leave the high ground. Keep it. Don't take 50-50s. Don't just leave your high ground to try and fight. It makes no sense. However, if someone is weak and really weak, then you can do that. You can apply pressure so he cannot heal, and then you have an edge. But if he did heal up, then maybe go back to the high ground and take it from there. But never just leave that and go for a 50-50. Another thing is that you can swap between weapons, as you all know. And there are people that, for example, if there's an enemy in here in this box, let me just edit these windows. There we go, they're gone. Alright, so there's an enemy in here in this nice little house. There we go. What they do is when they're in a fight, is they use their, for example, this applies to the pump shotgun a lot. The tactical shotgun, it's not that important, but you can still do it. However, what I'm saying is you can shoot with your shotgun, and then you want to shoot again, right? So you're gonna shoot, and then you keep spamming the button, and you can see that there's a delay between every shot. Right? It takes forever. So the best way to do this actually is to, whenever you get in a fight like this, you use your shotgun and immediately switch to your assault rifle or your SMG and finish it off. Don't ever wait for your second shotgun shot. And that is also a note to myself, because I'm also guilty of doing this. Because I know that the pump can do so much damage, I like to keep shooting with the pump, but it's way better to just shoot and switch and finish with the AR or with the SMG. It's way more valuable. Okay, so this is going to apply to building a little bit, but it still falls under positioning, and that is where can you actually build your walls and stuff like that. So sometimes you have to look up a little bit, and sometimes you have to look down. As you can see, if I look down, I can place a wall directly in front of me. But I can also, if I look up a bit, I can place a wall further away from me. And that is also sometimes important, because sometimes you can mess yourself up by placing it in your face, or placing it too far while you need protection right here, close to you. So if you need protection close to you, just look down and then build. But if you need a bit further away, you can just look up and then build. That is also something to note. So there's hipfire and there's ADS. ADS means that you're looking over the shoulder, you're zooming in with your weapon. And hipfire is, you don't do that, you just go and spray like this. That's hipfire. Now hipfire is really useful in close combat, so like shotgun range. If someone is in this box, you don't want to zoom in, because it makes it so slow. If that opponent in the box is just jumping around, it's so hard to try and hit this person. So just go in and hipfire. And you will notice that a lot of your shots will actually hit. And it's the same with the shotgun. I never ever zoom in. I don't zoom in and fight like that. I always just drag my mouse around and shoot like that. I just swipe my mouse. I'm not going to zoom in and do that. The only time where I do use the zoom is if, for example, someone is on the other side of the wall and he's trying to get into me. I'll just aim at his head and I'll just wait. I'll just wait for him to open up, and then I'll finish his head. I'll just shoot him in the head. And there are so many beginners and intermediate players, even some good players, that never ever keep that in mind. And it is so important, because it's going to save your life so often. Is the right hand peek. So what is that? Basically, if you look at my character and where my crosshair is, just in the middle, you can see that my character is on the left side of where I'm aiming. And that is the right hand peek. So that means that if I'm around this corner, first of all, I can use my camera and angle and see where the enemy is. But second of all, I can just stand here and already hit them. And they can barely see me. They can only see half of my body while I can hit them. You can also see this red cross on my screen now. And that is when I'm going to hit the wall. But I can actually, I don't have to be far away and shoot around the corner. Well, if I do this on the left side, I can still look around and peek. But you can see my crosshair is still aiming at the wall. So I actually need to expose myself fully before I can shoot around the corner. And that is why you always want that right hand. You always want to protect yourself off the left side. So you can control the fight and go from the right. So whatever is going to happen, whatever the situation is, never go around the corner like this and then try and shoot them. Always either build up and do it from here, or just go around from the right side. But that right hand peek is so important. And you'll notice if you're watching some good players, you can see that they're always using the right hand peek. They're never going from the left unless they know that the opponent is probably like at 20 health or something and you're at 200. Then you can take the fight, but it's still a 50-50 because even if that person is on 20 health, let's say there's a person here right here around the corner. Even if that person is on 20 health and I'm on 200, that guy might have a gold pump and just hit me once and I'm dead. So you want to be careful with that. The first thing that you should teach yourself is what is called turtling. And turtling, some people like it boxing up. Some people call it build a house. One thing you want to learn is to make a house like this. A full house with floors and with a roof. Now I'm all boxed up. This is a full box. Right, I'm now fully protected. This is something you want to learn. So how do you do this? You basically go somewhere and you look down a little bit, and then you can you take out your wall and you just hold your wall and you're going around all the way around until all the walls are made. Then you switch to a floor, and you can place a floor and you can look up to place a ceiling, and then you finish it up with a cone on top. So now I'm fully protected. And this is very important because from here I have full control over everything. Right? I can leave if I get shot from this angle. I can just edit and leave out this way, or I can build a ramp to protect myself even more, or I can just leave from the left. I could leave from the back. I can also place a ramp and then edit my way up here. Right? I have full control over the whole situation here. There's also something about turbo building, which should be on by default, and that basically means that if someone is shooting this wall, you just open your build menu and you keep holding your wall, right? You keep trying to build a wall, because whenever they break it, you just place a new one automatically. You just keep holding it, and that is a good way to protect yourself when people are spamming you or shooting you. And if it's too much, just back up a little bit and just place a ramp, and then you can still build a wall behind the wall. So even if this is destroyed and I'm on the ramp, I can still place a wall behind it and protect myself. So I'm now double layered basically. So that's turbo building. They're trying to take your wall, right? So let's say that there's an enemy in this box right here, and I'm outside. They're going to try and take this wall. They're going to destroy it. They're going to see there's a health bar. They know when it's weak, and they're just going to try to replace it, and then they're in control of this box, and they can do whatever they like. They can edit it, they can shoot you, whatever. So these wall takers are annoying to deal with sometimes. Now, the first thing that you can do against wall takers is the turbo building that I just said. So you just have your wall out, and you just keep building it. And they're just trying to pickaxe your wall, destroying it, but it automatically places another wall, right? Just keep trying to replace it. However, there are players that have a better internet connection than you do, and in that case, it's more likely that they will get your wall before you can build yours. So in that case, what can you do? basically, if this guy takes this wall like here, like this, the first thing that I want to do is I want to build a ramp. So now I protected myself. Even though I lost the wall, I protected myself, and now I could leave through the top, or I could leave through the sides, or maybe to the back. I can just still leave without him killing me. So that is a way to escape the wall takers, basically. So let's say there's an enemy in this box. You can go in here and try to take this wall. But people, what they like to do as well is they build. I'm just going to build with stone now, so it's easier to see what is wood and what is stone. I'm going to build a staircase on this angle. I'm going to build one here, and I'm going to try to take this wall now. Because even if they leave this box, they can only kind of leave like here, and then they are behind my ramp. I can edit my ramp and just shoot them. So I want to be in full control of this box. So you just place walls around it, and then you can also try and take their cone up top, and then you can edit it, and you can try and take their floor as well, and then you can do whatever you like. How do you take high ground from somebody? Because let's say someone is up here, and you want that high ground because you want to win the game. One way to do this is just to build a ramp and just go straight up. But it doesn't really help much. It's not really effective because they can just shoot your ramp down as you build up, and it will destroy it. So it's not really effective. So this was the first method that people found to take high ground, is just to build up a ramp. And then people started to get more creative, and what they did is a ramp wall push, which means they build a ramp and then they place a wall behind it. So here you can see it, they place a wall behind it, and then they place another ramp and another wall behind it. And then you just go up like this, and it would look like this. Oh, I'm overbuilt a little bit, but you can see that there's double layers. So if I want to shoot this down, I have to shoot a wall first, and then I have to shoot the ramp. So it's gonna take a bit longer to take that. Yeah, I don't want to really teach on how to do nights and stuff like that because it's way technical. But the point is basically that you build your way up by turning 90 degrees every time, and then taking the high ground like this. The downside of this, however, is that your head is always exposed. Remember, they have the high ground; they can look down on you, so they can easily hit you. So it's not really effective. So if you really want to get good at the game, then you need to practice high ground retakes, and that is not something for beginners or intermediate players. It is it's really tricky to pull off, and there are many variations. People think about new methods to take high ground or retake high ground all the time. Example is, one way is to just build a ramp and you place a cone above you, and then to the side of it, and then you can place a wall on here, over here, and then a ramp, and then you edit through this. Oops, I broke it. There you go, like that, and you can leave. And as you can see, if someone over here has the high ground, there's no way they can shoot you because you're protected all the way up. Another method is if you build up and you place a cone and a floor behind you, you can edit these pieces up, and then you can actually extend the ramp up there and go up like that, just like this, and then you can edit through this and keep going, and you're all the way protected. So that's also another retake. But like I said, they're very complicated, and they're more for advanced users, and there's so many variations of it that you can learn. And there are so many tutorials about this on YouTube as well. So if you want to learn that, just go to YouTube and search for high ground retake. That you can block enemies with the cone. The cone is this piece, the building piece. So let's say that someone is trying to build over you. So I'm just gonna build with wood for a second. Someone is building over you like this, right? They're placing ramps, and you're down here, and he's building above you, you can actually grab your cone and you can place it through his builds. So that is one way to block people from below. So they got stuck in a cone. You will see that a lot with good players. They're trying to trap them in a cone. And even more advanced players will take it even further by even placing walls around it, and then you're trapped in here. So you need to be aware of that. But you can actually abuse this cone. Sometimes you can place it on really high areas to protect yourself. If someone is up here, I can shoot it down now. That's a bit annoying. There we go. If someone is up here, up this wall, I usually like to protect myself by just placing a cone, or maybe even up there. Just place something so they can't shoot down. And you can even block people with the Another trick is that sometimes you get shot from behind, and you need to get away. And what you can do is, if you're placing a wall, when you're running towards the wall, you can place a ramp while you're looking at the wall, and it's going to place a ramp behind you, as you can see, like this. So that is a way to protect yourself, and you can just easily keep doing this and repeating this whole process. As you can see, I keep placing ramps behind me for extra protection. So sometimes you want to protect your back. It is situational, of course, but if there's a way where there's some kind of building and you know you need to protect yourself, let's say that this is a metal wall and it takes a while to break down, you can just place a ramp behind you so you're protected from the back, and then you can just attack it from that. It's a little trick, but sometimes it can save your life. You can also see good players abuse it a lot because they're more tricky. So there are some basic edits that you need to learn. Of course, there is a window. Well, let's first go over how do you edit. So you look at your build, your wall, for example, and then it will show you the edit button. Right? For me, it's F. So you press that, and then you have some tiles that you can select. So you can, for example, create a window by knocking out a square, and there's your window. Of course, you can also reset it, but for me it's right click. For you, it might be a different button, so you have to check whatever your button is, or maybe change it. However, you can make a window. You can make a window on either side. You can also make a window in the center. You can edit a door. That is just the middle one and then one at the bottom. You have a nice door. And you can also have that on the left side or on the right side. So those are some basic edits. And the more advanced edits are the corner edits, where you edit a corner like this. So the middle right, the bottom right, and the bottom middle. Or you have like a Dorito shape. You can use that on any angle. You can even do that at the top. So that is also a way to edit. And this is very important because you can actually protect yourself too while doing these edits. See, my whole body is protected, and then whenever I feel comfortable, I can take a shot. So that's important. And then there's also the big edits, like this. And you can also do that on the left side. So just those 4 big squares. Yeah, however, you cannot do them at the top. You cannot do this. That doesn't work. This one doesn't work. So you can only do them at the bottom. Those are the most important edits. There are some other edits like these, but they're not used that often. Right, sometimes you want to do edit like this, or you can even do an edit like this. But those are not that important. The most important ones are windows, and these corner edits, and these big ones. Those ones you just need to practice. Now, if you go into creative and you go into an area like this, you can actually practice those edits. So what I advise to do is to make a sort of course for yourself, and just take it slow. Take all your time that you need, because it's not about speed. It's about being consistent in what you do. So try and place a wall, and then, for example, walk towards it, and then maybe just keep it simple and make a door, and see if you can do that. And then you place another wall, and you make another door, right? And you just keep editing these doors until you're comfortable with. What I like to do is just make some easy drills for yourself. So just place a wall and try see if you can make a window or a door, and get those basic edits out. Make sure that you know them. But the most important things are those triangles or the full ones. And just keep trying to place a wall, and then eventually you can do this, and you can just keep going. Even I mess up. You can just keep going. You'll just get used to the rhythm. And sometimes you will mess up still, it's okay. But you can keep going, and then you can switch it off to the left side, for example. Or you can just do the triangle squares. Now sometimes if you need more time, if you feel like you're getting there, but it's not working out that well for you, sometimes you actually want to, instead of walking straight towards the wall, you want to go left and right a little bit. You strafe a little bit. It gives you more time, because it takes longer to go to this wall diagonally than just straight towards it. So you can also edit and keep editing this from the sides while you're strafing a little bit, so you have more time. It's just practice. Keep practicing. And then once you get that down, you can also do the same thing with ramps, because the ramps are really tricky to edit. In fact, I'll go over ramps, because the ramps are very important too. So if you have a ramp and you edit it, you can edit the right side like this, or to the left side by just selecting the whole left side or the whole right side. However, you can also take the back ones, and then it will be like that. But sometimes you need to rotate your ramp, and that's where these arrows are for. So you can also select this arrow and then go towards that area, and then rotate the ramp like that. But that's something you need to learn. And then there's also the staircase one that you can do. Well, that's not too much use for that. But what I like to do with the ramps as well is, because ramps are tricky to edit, because sometimes you're up here, sometimes you're down here, so the angle is always different. So I like to practice these ramps too. And I'm just going to place it, and I'm just going for these side edits, and then just walk over to it, and I'll build another one, and then I'll keep trying to build them, and keep editing the sides where you're not. Where your character is not. So if I'm on this angle, I don't want to do this angle, because then I'm blocking myself. So you want to go for the other sides, right? You want to go like this, and then maybe like this. You just want to try and learn those edits, and maybe just place a ramp and then try some other combinations, just so you get used to it. You need to make a sort of parkour for yourself. There are a lot of editing maps too, where you can. What is important with this though is cursor placement, because if you're doing a big edit like this one with the 4 squares, what you don't want to do is you want to select them. You don't want to select them at the outside like this, because look at the whole aiming that I have to do just to do this edit. What you actually want to do is be as close to these the cross in the middle, so like this. That makes it so much easier. So you can do it really fast if you instead of going around like that. It doesn't make much sense. And also, if there's an enemy behind that box, you don't want to do all this like this and then this, and then they edit because I'm aiming right there. I'm aiming right there. What good players do is, for example, they use this edit with the triangle, and they do it with a reason. They don't do it from top to bottom, because then you're aiming over here on the ground, but they do it like the top, because then it's way easier to immediately shoot on their head. So that's also something that don't edit doors, because I mean, sometimes you do it by accident, it happens, it's okay, but don't do it on purpose, because editing doors is awful. If you are boxed up and you want to leave and you make a door and there's an enemy waiting on the other side, is waiting over here with the shotgun, you're in a real bad advantage, because when you get out of here, you can see that my character will do an animation. See, he uses his left hand to open a door. Well, it doesn't. You cannot really see it properly because I'm a skeleton skin, but you can kind of see that there is a little hand trying to open the door. And in that little moment, you are not able to shoot. So whenever you're opening the door, bam, they just shoot you. So that's why you never want to edit doors. So always just go for these or the. Because sometimes you're in a big build battle and you have the high ground, but you know that you're way too high. If you get shot down right now, you're dead. You know that you're dead. So sometimes you want to get down quickly. And one easy method to go down is by doing a waterfall. So how do you do a waterfall? Is you're let's say that I'm going to do it over here. You're going to stand at the edge of your build, and then you take out your wall, and you basically look down, and you're going to walk off the edge. So you're just going to walk off the edge, and while you're walking off, you're placing your walls. So the first thing you do is go down, place walls, 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 walls. You just hold it, and you have something like this. Now, of course, this will kill you. So let me just go back up. Basically, when you're building your ramps and you're going down, every few seconds you get used to the timing. You want to place a ramp, but you always want to keep looking down. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to walk off the edge. I'm going to hold my wall button, but after a little bit, I'm going to place a ramp. So I'm going to do it like this: walls and a ramp. And then you can see that I place a couple of ramps, walls, and I place a ramp, and now I'm safe. And I can keep doing this. I can also go to the side, and this is one way to safely get down, and that is the waterfall. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind is that if you're 3 stories high, oh, I use a speed boost. Well, actually that helps. If you're 3 stories high, you cannot take fall damage. So 3 ramps up or 3 walls up. You can just jump off, and you'll be fine. You won't take any fall damage. But if it's 4, then you will take some fall damage. So you have to keep that in mind. So this is one of the Fortnite X Pros, 72 hours, really good player. Unfortunately doesn't play Fortnite anymore, but he always invents some really smart tactics. Actually, let me see if you guys can see. Yes, you guys can see. Okay, cool. Let me just put it on this screen so I can also read the chat. So what he does is he's in a truck right now.
Basically.
Oh, let me just mute him because we don't want to hear him scream. He's getting shot. There we go. You can see that the traces are coming from that angle up the building up there. So he knows that person is up there. So what this guy does is so brilliant. He drives up. He sees that he fell off. That enemy wanted to push him. That's why he jumped off the building. So he knows that the building is over here. Now what does 72 Hours do? He's driving towards him, but now he's switching seats. He's switched from the driver's seat to the passenger seat, and now he starts to build. He builds a couple of boxes, but the truck is still continuing to drive. And now he gets the perfect angle. He's still in this truck, and the enemy is now distracted, builds up, tries to take high ground, and then he gets a free shot. It's so brilliant. And he gets him weak and uses the bounce pad to apply pressure on the opponents. It's so smart. He does this all the time. It's so crazy. I just wanted to show. Then we have a clip here of Alixxa. In my opinion, she is the best female Fortnite player. So I just wanted to join a female player as well because they don't get that much love, I believe. So um, let's see what she does. She is not a pro, but she can. I think she has the talent to compete on that level. Um, so first of all, she's at the end game. There are 5 enemies left. Um, this is not important right now. But just wait. She's just trying to weaken that enemy down there. She sees that enemy down below. All right. So here is an example where she's going to try and take this wall, but the other enemy inside the box knows that his editing skills are not that great. So what he does is he's going to wait with the pump and try to hit her. Right? You can see she replaces the wall, she edits it, but right now the guy inside the box has her shotgun aimed at her. Okay, so she edits the wall. And the opponent already has a shotgun pointed at her, which is one of those methods that I taught you about, right? That if you're boxed up and someone's trying to take your wall, you can either edit out and escape, or you can just take your shotgun and aim at her. And and you can see that she just did 110 damage with the gold pump. Let's go back a little bit so we can actually see it happening again. So he places the wall, he gets shot, she shoots with the shotgun and immediately switches to the scar and finishes off the kill. And that is why you don't want to wait for your pump to recharge for that little cooldown that there is. Alright, so now there are 3 enemies left. She knows that that guy up there has high ground, and she's getting sprayed. And all she does is, okay, she gets a bit unlucky here with just getting stuck. So right now she's in a really, really tough spot, right? She's quite weak. She still has some shield, so that's okay. But her materials are low. She has a little lower than 400 materials, which is like 40 builds. And she still needs to walk towards the zone. And she's kind of pushed in the to the edge of the storm. So she's quite weak. She's heating up, boxing up. This is all skill. This is a bit dangerous what she's doing here. She makes the edits because she sees this person. But what she actually wants to do, she's not shooting at the person. She's trying to shoot down the high ground. But this is actually tricky, dangerous, because the guy up top can actually see her and might be able to shoot her. So that's something. You can see that she was just getting shot from the high ground. So there's something that is dangerous. Now, what she did is you already used half of her materials. She only has 200 materials left. But she did knock out the high ground, which is good. Even shoots. And then she bucks up. And she does this to assess the situation. Right? Be aware of where everybody is. She knows there's 3 enemies left. High ground is not much of a threat right now. But she's running low on materials again. And the guy already retook the high ground and keeps it. So she's trying to mat up. I think she pulls it off. Yes, she does. Not many builds left. So it's now she's just looking, abusing the camera, seeing if she can get an angle, see where all the other enemies are. See how she makes this edit as well. Let me just pause it. Right here, she protects her character. Her character cannot get hit, but she can actually use the camera to see where the enemies are. Resets it, but she knows that she needs to go over there. She needs to go towards that tower, but she doesn't have many materials. So a lot of people would just go for it. They just run towards that build, or they try to build their way up there. But the problem is she doesn't have materials, so she needs to think quickly about what she's going to do. Now, luckily for her, she remembers that she has a bounce pad. She just places it up there, and bam, she's in the zone. Off. Now, what is going to happen is, this is why I chose this clip, is to showcase how quickly she switches between shotgun and assault rifle to finish off the kill or get some damage. So here she drops down. She sees this guy over here, only hits him for 55, which is very unfortunate because she's using a gold pump. But as you can see at the crosshair, only two of the pellets hit. So it wasn't a really good shot. But she knows that she's going to get hit as well, so she quickly jumps up and adds back in. Well, this guy's being annoying. And there we have it. Look how quick she switches. She's using shotgun, assault rifle, and immediately builds. And then, Okay, she's getting shot in a little bit. And it's this guy. Here we go. She has the shotgun selected. Shoots and immediately has switched back to an assault rifle. Hits this guy. Hit him. It just hit him with 40 damage with the shotgun. Immediately already have the scar selected. If you watch this in real time, I mean. The way she switches, bam, bam. It goes so fast. Now she uses one of the abilities to get up here because she is out of materials. This was a smart way to get high ground. That is also being aware, right? Being aware of what items are on the ground, know what you can take. And look, all the loot over here. Now she has a lot more materials. And this is the point where she is at. And she knows she won the game. I believe she'll get in a fight in a sec. It's 1v1. She has the high ground too. And this is also very important, right? She takes high ground. Well, she has high ground, but adds up a little bit. She uses the camera to see where this guy is. She knows where the enemy is, and she doesn't zoom in. She doesn't use ADS. Just hip fire. Hits the player and immediate build, so you can't get hit. Broke the shield, and then just kept the high ground. Now she's putting pressure on the guy because you don't want that person to heal. And this is all just piece control and putting pressure without losing the high ground. She keeps that high ground, so it's very important. Tries to get an angle of him. Still wants to take the high ground, and then she does some edits to see where he is, and there he is, and bam, that's, and she won the game. Clix and Bizzle, those two are top tier pros. Like they're the best of the best, and they're basically having a 1v1 fight in creative. They're just build battling. You can see how quick these pro players play. They're going to fight. They're going to 1v1 against each other, and it's going so fast. I'm not even going to pause this. Look at how fast these guys build and what they're doing and how they're editing. And this all has a reason. These are all high ground retakes while staying protected. And they hear where the other one is. It's so crazy. Keeps editing, keeps the high ground, boom, bam, and it's over. And still gets hit a lot. I think they have another fight. Let's watch that too. There was another clip I needed to show you. Let's watch one more. But just to show you how quick these pros are. It's insane how quick they think. And every edit, every piece they build has a reason. There's a reason why they built this. And then just finish it. You saw at the end here how he uses the right hand peek as well, right? Here, the perfect right hand peek, and then finish it off. See, protecting yourself, and then time it, and then just finish it off. That's how quick it goes. So the last thing I wanted to show you is the clip of Nickmercs. He is not a Fortnite pro. He's just a creator. He likes to. He always loves to compete. But this guy can play with pro players, and he did it a lot. He uses controller as well, so it's a lot harder for controller players to get up there. But he's not a pro in Fortnite. He can compete on that level though. But he is a pro at Call of Duty and in Warzone. Won many tournaments on that. I think he was a pro in Gears of War 2 and in some other games. So I think even in Halo he used to compete and on the highest level and was a pro there as well. And he's not mechanically good. He's actually not a great player. But what makes him great is his positioning, is his awareness of everything, and we're gonna see that in this clip. So this is an old clip, and it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. So he knows he's going to tilt the towers, right? He knows that he's going over into this city. Now, the thing with Nickmercs is that he also has a favorite building, like I showed you at the beginning, which is this tower over here. So he's looking down, and he has the experience to know exactly when he needs to pull his glider out. See, you might think he's too low, but he actually knows how to do it perfectly. See, look around how many people are landing, and he's also quickly looking at where are they landing. See, perfect dropped, gets a weapon. Now he saw that person land next to him, so he knows that someone is below him. Right? He drops down, he sees this guy, and at this point, this person in front of him picked up a shotgun. And he heard that. He already knew, okay, this guy up above me has the shotgun. So what he's actually going to do is he's going downstairs, and you see this chest over here? Is this quality actually HD? It's just an old clip, so it's fine. There's a chest over here. He doesn't take it, and he doesn't take it for a reason. He knows his opponent has a shotgun. He knows he will lose this fight most likely. So what he's doing is he's taking a different angle, hides behind the box, and there you have it. Somebody is going for the chest, and then he can just finish him. And he sees the guy on the right as well that is going in there, and he's just going to wait. He doesn't push it. He's just going to wait, patiently wait, because he knows that he will eventually show himself. Just trying to bait him. See, he tried to shoot with the shotgun. Hits him a couple of times, about 60. So that's also something you need to be aware of. When you hit people, you need to be aware of how much did you hit them, how much healing do they have. And then he's going to jump and try and finish the person. Another thing that I didn't tell you here is that Nickmercs is actually solo. He's playing against squads. So it's actually him against squads of 4 all the time. So now he gets all the loot, he gets the shields, finishes all those people. And then he doesn't heal up straight away. No, he's going to in his corner, and now he's going to heal because now he's in a much safer space, right? He cannot get hit from here. So now he healed up, and he knows that someone is above him. You can actually see the shadow over here that shows you where the person is. I don't know if that's still in the game actually. Well, it doesn't matter. He knows that there's a person up here, but only because of this movement, only because of the movement that he hears. And that is the crazy thing, right? Is because of the movement, the way the person walks up here, he already knows this is not a good player. He already hears it. He only hears the footsteps, and he knows this is not a good player. I can take him. And that is also something that I see when I'm playing myself. Is I look at, before I shoot people, I look at how good they are. You know, some people are jumping around all the time, are very aware of what's going on, and those people I don't like to fight because I know that they will be good at the game. While there's also players that never jump, or they never look around, and then you know, okay, those players are not that great. So you can take advantage of that. So here he hears it, he builds up, gets the shot. It's in white, so he already knows, okay, he's weak, he doesn't have any shields, because if he had shields he would have already drank it. Now, what he actually does is that player goes down the stairs. So what Nickmercs does is he's just waiting for him here. This is all about positioning. That guy has no chance. So why, when you waterfall, do you use a ramp instead of cover? You can do that too. You can do that too. It doesn't matter. I just use the ramp because it's more of a slope, right? If you use a floor, then you might be 4 or 5 stories down and then take some damage. But with the ramp, yeah, it will catch it. You can use the cone too, but then you kind of have to land in the center. But it's okay. You can use it though, whatever you prefer. Alright, so back to this clip. He already knows that there's a team here. And he knew that when he flew around. So at the beginning of when he was flying in, I don't know if we can actually see it, but when he was flying in, somewhere around here, he already saw that the team was landing at the gas station. He already knew that. See, right here, see the glider? He knows, okay, that team is going to the gas station. And then a couple minutes later, he's already looking at that direction. He knows there is a team there somewhere. And he sees the guy running around there as well. Now, he's going over that other way. because he hears some fighting. He hears someone using a scar, and he knows that he's fighting. So he knows, hey, I want that scar. I want that weapon. And he knows that they're fighting, so he's going to go in there as well. Finishes the last kill, and then just grabs the scar and grabs all the good loot. Gets all the materials, the shields. Now he knows that there's a team here as well, and this is where it gets interesting. He sees there's a team in here, right? You can see the player over there. He shoots him, hits him. Now this guy, there's a guy here over here, and I think he saw him too late, or just a bit unlucky, but he hits him. He hit Nickmercs with quite a lot of damage. So he still gets them knocked. He gets 2 people knocked. And here's the thing, he doesn't go inside the building. He almost got sniped here, because he's not healing around the corner. But he doesn't go inside. A lot of players would just go in the building and push. And that is what Nickmercs doesn't do. He's going around, and he's going to take a different angle. Opens the door here. He uses the right hand peek again, and then finishes off the kills without going inside. Now again, he doesn't take the loot. He's not going there. Kills the other guy that's approaching as well. Now he's going to peek from this angle. He knows that there's another guy up here. There he is. Can't hit him though. But he wants that loot. But he can't go that loot. If he goes inside right now, he might get hit. So he goes back. And now he goes in because he knows that this ramp will protect him. Now he's healing, and maybe you already saw it, but he's right here. The enemy is right here, but he's protected by this ramp. Gets all the loot, goes back to the ramp to have some protection, and you can see that the guy makes an edit. And now what Nickmercs does is, before he shows himself, he's already aligning his crosshair at the head, and then boom, goes for some damage. Keeps pressuring as well, and then finishes him without actually exposing him too much, which is really nice. Now he still knows that there's another team, which is the team at the gas station. Well, of course they're not at the gas station anymore, but he goes back. He always goes back to his big building because he loves that building. He knows it so well, and that's why he stays around it. You can see that there's an enemy in the back. So what he does is he does the ramp push. Now he has the high ground, and he can see the whole overview. He can see the players over here. He knows where they are. He's getting shot. Now he's getting spammed a lot. So right now he knows that this team will push him. So what he does is he backtracks. He wants to get back. He wants to protect himself as well. He wants to go back to his favorite place, which is this building. And what he does is he actually builds up to the roof of the building. There we go. Has the roof, even goes higher. And now he has the high ground as well again, while the other team is trying to push. And now he has the perfect angle to knock somebody. Knock the other guy. He has 2 people knocked. He still knows that there are 2 people alive. He uses the right hand peek. He uses the window without revealing himself. Lands on the roof. Builds up. And now he takes the time to finish off the kills. Now he just sees there's a guy on the right here. He sees that, and he's just going to be aware. He's aiming on him. See, aiming towards him. And now he knows that he can take this 50-50 because this guy has his back turned towards him. And bam, he just finishes him like that. So he still knows that there's 1 person left, but he doesn't entirely know where he is. He thinks he's over there somewhere, but he's not 100% sure. So he's just using the camera to see where they are, finish off the other players. And still trying to take the high ground. Shoots that box to find out if that person is over there. Loots up a little bit. Gets all the other loot as well. He doesn't know where the other person is, but he knows that he's still near his favorite building. So whenever he's getting hit, He's near his favorite building, so he knows how to work his way around or take the high ground. So he always stays next to it, and here you can see that he's going back up, but he hears the player going up here. Now he uses the van to cover himself up, put some pressure on him. I don't know what the guy's doing, but he probably gave up. But gets the kill here as well. And just like that, Nickmercs just wiped whole Tilted Towers, got 13 kills. Fought like 3 or 4 different teams as well, without taking too much damage.